What's good, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to talk about this week's box office. And if you're going to talk about box office for this week, you must say, my oh my, what a week for Barbenheimer once again. It was the same for last week. It was the same for 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks straight, Barbenheimer has been dominating the box office. Barbie earned another 33.7 million last week. And the drop from the previous week was only 36%. Now that's insane. That's such a good drop because the drop is very low. That's very good. So a 36% drop and it earned another 33.7 million. That's a good number, by the way. Domestically, it's at 526 million. Overseas, it has earned even more, like 657 million. And at total right now, it's at 1.18 billion. This film is the highest grossing film for a female director. That's history right there. And not just that, honestly. It's also one of the top 10 fastest movie to get to the $1 billion club. That's another insane thing. Then you have Oppenheimer, which so far is my favorite film of the year, taking in another $18.8 million from a 35% drop, another great drop. Domestically, it's at 264 million. Overseas is at 385 million. Overall right now, in total it's at 650 million around there. And I must say that's a really good number, especially for a rated R film. I'm not kidding. This is actually one of the top 10 highest grossing rated R films already. And this is such a great film. And this film will be a great career boost for Cillian Murphy as well. A very underrated actor. This actor deserves way much more roles. If you have seen Peaky Blinders, you know what I'm talking about. This guy is an incredible actor. And in Oppenheimer, he shines as well. He just needs to get the nomination. I mean, I'm hoping he wins the Oscar, but he just needs to get that Oscar nomination and he'll be getting much more roles in bigger films. And I can't wait to see his success. He might just be one of my favorite, if not my favorite actor of all time right now. TMNT, it had a 44% drop, which is not bad. And it earned another 15.8 million. There's been a word of good mouth going around for this film saying that this film is actually a very good Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. It's a really good one. So domestically, it sits at 72 million and overseas is at 21 million. Overall right now, it's at 94 million. For a $70 million budget, I don't think that's really that good, but here's the thing. Puss in Boots 2 also didn't have a very high opening number. But overall, it did very well because of the word of mouth. And I think something similar is going on here where Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is getting a word of mouth, and by the end of the box office, although it didn't start off very strong, I think by the end it will be a good number to end it. Because word of mouth has been going up for this film. And there's The Last Voyage of Denethor, which has a $45 million budget. And it only opened up to $6.5 million. I have no idea what this movie is about. I'm just going to be honest straight up. No idea what it's about, and it's doing horribly at the box office. So good luck with that. Then Haunted Mansion, I don't have to say much. It's a flop from Disney. It's a Disney flop. Sorry, Disney. Talk to Me, an excellent horror film. It's now a hit right now. For a very low budget, it has earned quite a big number. And I am really excited to see what these directors do next, because they are incredible. The fact that they took their YouTube experience into directing is incredible. I'm a YouTuber and I also want to be a director. So these guys are like inspiration for me right now. And they made an excellent film and I can't wait to see what they do next. Talk to Me is an excellent hint right now. And Sound of Freedom, oh my goodness, this movie, I did not expect it to do this well. With a 36% drop, it raked in another 4.8 million. And it's currently sitting at 172 million domestically. That's a good number, by the way. I did not expect it to do this well because I didn't know the context of the story. But then again, a big surprise for me. But I don't think it was a surprise for many of you, since many of you would know the context, but I didn't know, which sucks. But again, great that it's doing really well. Then there's Mission Impossible 7 Dead Reckoning Part 1. This is damn straight sad. Like, I am really sad about this. Mission Impossible deserved better. It deserved better numbers at the box office. But because of Barbenheimer, which I really loved, I'm happy that there's such a thing called Barbenheimer. But because of this one thing that I really love, this other thing that I really love, Mission Impossible, is not doing that well at the box office. And that's not what I want. I want both these things to do well, but that's straight up really depressing and sad. I don't know how to express my sadness. Please, if you have not seen this movie, go to the theaters to watch it. It's an excellent film. It deserves all that money. And again, the next film is going to be Dead Reckoning Part 2. If Part 1 doesn't do so well, how do you expect Part 2 to do? I mean, this film had great audience score, great critic score, yet it's not doing it. And even as Tom Cruise, who might have saved Hollywood last year with Top Gun Maverick. So this is really damn straight depressing for me. If you haven't seen it, please go watch this. Make this your first priority to watch. Put Barbenheimer aside, those films are doing excellent right now. Go watch this film. This should be your first priority. So you'll be very curious of me to... So I'll be really curious to see how Part 2 does, because Part 1 is not doing that well, but I'm hoping somehow Part 2 does very well. The only way I can see Part 2 doing very well is if suddenly a lot of people go to watch the movie. If not, this movie goes onto a streaming service and it does really well on the streaming service. Those are the only ways that I see this film doing well. Other than that, I can't see any other ways. Then Jailer, an Indian film, a Tamil film starring Rajinikanth himself, earned like 2.6 million in the opening weekend already in the US, I think. That's what I read up on. It earned 2.6 million in the US. That's pretty good for an Indian film to earn that much in the opening weekend in the US. Yeah, that's actually very good, especially for a Tamil film. I wonder how this film does compared to other Tamil films in the US box office. But good numbers. I don't know how it did in India. I'm gonna have to check that out soon later. My friends actually went to watch this film. Some of my friends, they put it on Instagram, said that it's a great commercial film. Maybe I might watch it, who knows. Gadar 2, another Indian film that did really well at the US box office. Like really surprised me. Like 1.15 million is a big number for an Indian film at the box office. Maybe, okay, this is what I predict. I think ever since RRR came out, the sad part is it came on streaming service. It didn't come on theaters, which is really sad because it's a spectacle to watch. It is really a must watch in theaters, but sadly it didn't come on theaters. That film got a lot of traction in the US, and I think that's what's going on here. The attention of that film is now gathering people, audiences in the US to watch more Indian films, and yeah, you can see the results right here. So thank you SS Rajamouli for this big success for Indian cinema. And yes, seriously, go watch Mission Impossible. That movie deserves a lot. Oh yeah, and the Meg 2 earned like 12.7 million from a 58% drop domestically. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that film. It earned a lot in overseas. It earned like $200 million in overseas already. Especially in China. It made a lot of money in China. Which the first film also did. Made a lot of money in China. Despite all the negative things I'm hearing about the film, this film does really well in... did really well in overseas markets, and that's the trend, right? Usually whenever you have giant creatures, or to be more specific, giant prehistoric creatures starring in a film, those films tend to do a lot better in overseas than what you see in domestic. You can see that with the Jurassic World movies as well. And it's not only these kind of movies, it's also other action-centric films like the Fast and Furious franchise has done really well recently in China as well. I mean, this Fast and Furious 8, if I'm not wrong, earned more money in China than the US. And that's insane. I'm not kidding, it's true, and that's really insane. Despite it being a Hollywood film, it earned much more in an, like, I don't even mean by a lot, much more. Like, usually films like this, they tend to do very well in overseas. And I'm really happy for these films because although they're not my cup of tea, they're still doing really well, which means there are still a lot of people who love them. People still need these kind of movies, so please make more of them. And yeah, that's all for today's video. And this is my first time talking about box office. And I'm also very interested to talk about weekly box office. So every week I'm going to talk about the box office of the week. I'm actually very interested in it. It has been something I've been interested for years. I've been following up on a lot of people like Grace Randolph and reading up and always looking at the box office for films, studying them, how they work, looking at them and seeing how they really work, what's the trend like. I've been looking at these kind of things for years already, and I'm really interested in these kind of things. So if you want to give me any feedback like how I can improve for next week's box office when I talk about it, let me know in the comments. If you want to let me know anything else, also let me know in the comments. If you like this video, click the like button. If you see more, subscribe to my channel, and see you next time. You guys are always the best. Thank you for watching.